Welcome back to the Best Start Guide. It is day 155, and I got an amazing champion yesterday. Not going to beat around the bush. I got the first mythical champion, and it's Lady Mikage. Again, I've pulled this champion three times, twice on my main account, once on this account. Obviously, either Plarium or the RN Jesus, or both. Just want me to have this champion. This is the only mythical I've ever pulled. I geared her yesterday in Stone Skin. I decided that was a mistake. I put the Stone Skin right back on Foley. And I instead decided that the best way to go with Lady Mikage is Reflex, since with her skills, we've got a nice little ally attack on the A3, and we have the reset on the A2. And we don't even need to book her for this, which is good, because mythical tomes are extremely hard to come by. In the tavern, let's see, in the way of books, I got 8 books. They've all got Wixwell's name on them. I am going to book him tomorrow, because tomorrow is Clan versus Clan. I haven't actually reviewed what is doubled tomorrow. Looks like it's Potions, Ice Golem, Iron Twins, Faction Wars, Arena Objectives. Good to know. Clan's nice and full too. We've still got 2 spots free. Anybody want to join a new clan? We're a very chill clan. We got a Discord server that's always happening. There's always people chatting on the Discord server. And this episode is all going to be about the clan boss, because I think, doubled the damage that I got last time. I'm gonna run this the slow way finally. I finally have masteries on everybody that I'm running in the clan boss, and I made one substitution. So here's the substitution that I made. I might actually have them both in the presets, come to think of it. But if we go to the Demon Lord, Ultra Nightmare, this is my other account, by the way, scoring a nice 72 million, nice and easy, consistent 1 key from that account. But let's check out the swag we got on this account. So, Ancient Shard, not bad. From Nightmare, we're getting the ultimate chest. Looks like the clan is actually taking down Nightmare regularly. We got an epic book. That's not a legendary book, but I'll still take it. But let's do it. We're going to go in. And so this was the Take 3 version. I've replaced Valerie with Lady Mikage, basically. So I took, and I did a fair amount of gear swapping. The shield set was on Valerie, so the shield set had to go on somebody else, so I put it onto Malkith. Malkith's reflex gear then went on to Lady Mikage, and Wixwell is still also in reflex, and Uragrim is still in regen. And basically I just put the best savage gear that I could on Xenogray Blademaster. So these are the presets right here. What we're looking at is putting as many poisons up as possible and putting up as many buffs. I just decided, you know what, I'm not going to bother with the healing and the cleanse, because it's just a wasted move. I'd probably be better off just doing the A1 with Uragrim, getting more poisons off. Xeno, I'm opening with the Blade Strike, and it looks like I decided I just didn't care anymore about the move order with her. I just let her do whatever. And it worked to tremendously good effect last time, so I'm going to stick with it this time. Malkith, basically just do the increased buff duration as much as possible. That's all that matters. Aside from that, got him to near 50,000 HP so that you start with a nice shield on the shield set that he's got. This is important because you want the shield set, and then you also want a champion setting up a shield so that you have 2 different shields that can grow. We got Lady Mikage. Basically, I want to increase the buff duration as much as possible, but I wanted to open with the buffs so that they could be increased, and we still want to do the ally attack as often as possible. And finally, we got Wixwell. This is maybe the biggest change that I think this should make the clan boss team a lot more stable. He's putting up his buffs and his shield, and then he's never using this again. The last couple of days, I've been trying to run him with both. alternating between both moves. But the reflex set, because of the way it reduces the cooldowns on a random skill, you really only want one skill on cooldown, so it's always that one. So I decided, since increased defense is going to be up the whole fight anyway, since the shield is up the whole fight anyway, the only reason to leave it up is the intercept buffs, to try to spread that around the party so that I don't have to deal with stuns in the wrong place. But what I found is that Lady Mikage, she's got her passive where she will remove all debuffs from the ally with the highest attack, which should be Xenogray, and Xenogray should be the stun target. And the reason I say this is because she's going to be the one that is the closest to the number 1 slot with the lowest number of buffs. She should have a lower number of buffs than normal because A, she puts this on just herself, but Lady Mikage puts increased attack on everybody. So that means she's no longer the only one under increased attack. And Uragrim counts as having 1 extra buff because, and I'm just going to switch back to the champion tab just for a moment. This is an interesting one. I don't know why this works, why it's coded this way, but this Steadfast Mastery, this seems to count as a buff. So when counting the number of buffs so that the clan boss determines who to attack with his stun, this counts as a buff. So if this is up, he's going to move on to the next champion in the line, which is going to be her, and she does not have Steadfast. She instead has pinpoint accuracy. So that's how it's supposed to work. I ran it on Quick Battle yesterday, and I got, I think, 140 million. So I'm going to take it off Quick Battle, and we're going to see how it goes. This is still not going to be the endgame version of this team. As you can see, Lady Mikage doesn't even have her Ascension. She's not fully leveled, but she does have the War Master Mastery. They all do. So let's get started. Let's see if the first couple turns go to plan. So all the buffs are getting placed. You can see there's 2 different shield buffs on everybody. And now that a lot of the initial buffs have been placed, Wixwell is only ever going to use his shield and buff extender. And I think this is going to make all the difference in the team. I think this would even work with Valerie, but full disclosure, I didn't try this with Valerie. As soon as I got Lady Mikage, I basically didn't look back. I was like, okay, Lady Mikage has to go in the team, because there's so much synergy here. Lady Mikage has her ally attack. Lady Mikage's A1 also includes a second attack from a random Shadowkin ally. And we have a Shadowkin ally in Xenogray Blademaster. Which means Xenogray Blademaster is probably finally going to out-damage Uragrim, because she gets lots of extra attacks because of Lady Mikage. So, you are basically looking at what we're going to be doing for the rest of this episode. Growing the shields, damaging the clan boss, going for that 1 key. Gonna see how much damage we can get, and this is it. This is the episode for today. This is day 155. I don't really want to do too much more building or screwing around with this account or farming dungeons, farming masteries, because I can get back to that tomorrow. Tomorrow is clan versus clan. Might as well hit the game harder during clan versus clan so that you double dip, right? So I'm going to take it easy today. This is going to be it. I'm going to run this once. So, as you can see, she is taking the stun. So as long as you can control where the stun goes, with Lady Mikage, and this is the thing, I mean, now, it's not exactly an early game thing anymore. Lady Mikage is somebody you're probably not supposed to really be able to get until you've been playing maybe a year, maybe more. But just like random dumb luck, I happen to get Lady Mikage. It's just the strange way that it goes. So now I'm actually hoping for more dumb luck when I pull more champions. Next time I pull champions. There's one particular epic that I think is the absolute best partner in the game for Lady Mikage, and that epic is Phenax because of his A1. So that's the last thing I'm hoping for to be blessed by RNGesus on this account with a Phenax. That'd really just complete this account. I think this account is really getting to the point where I want it. The shields are growing. I am fairly confident that this is just going to be a consistent 1 key for Ultra Nightmare from here on out. So tomorrow, I'm going to be booking Wixwell. Hopefully, that'll get the 3-turn cooldown on his buff extension shield growing thing, which would make him more consistent, but it looks like the team is consistent enough now with Reflex on 2 of the 3 champions. So Malkith is perfectly comfortable in his shield set. Now, if I wanted to put the shield set on the champion with the best max HP, that actually would have been Lady Mikage. But I really wanted Lady Mikage to have the Reflex. It might actually have been smarter to put it on Malkith, come to think of it, because Malkith isn't going back and forth between 2 moves, and Lady Mikage is. So maybe the smartest way to do it would have been to put the shield set on Mikage. But I like the extra ally attacks that Lady Mikage can get. So wow, you could barely see the HP anymore on the champions. I think this fight will probably run for about half an hour. So, if at this point you wanted to speed ahead to the end and do that, I wouldn't blame you. I'm not even sure how I'm going to fill all this dead air. I mean, I can. I can just fill it with whatever. So Xeno Greyblade Master has the Smite. I gave her the Smite because she's got 3 attacks on her A1. She has 4 attacks on her A2 and 4 attacks on her A3. Or I should say 4 hits. The attack is, of course, the thing that you select, and then the number of hits is the number of hits that you get. So, because of the nature of Brimstone, where it procs every time you hit, you basically want to put it on the champion that has the most hits. So that's why she's got it. Otherwise, it actually might make sense to put Cruelty on the champion with the most hits, but Wixwell is 5-star Ascended, and I figured you get a better maximum with him. So Wixwell's actually reducing the damage, or reducing the defense. I'm sorry, he's reducing the defense of the clan boss. So the clan boss takes more damage per hit as a result of that. These 47,000, 47, there it is again, 47. Those are all the War Master procs. So this is why you want more War Master on everybody. And then there's the 57s popping out. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe it's slightly high. You know what? It could be because of the weaken. I think it's because of the weaken. Now I can't tell. Sometimes it's 47k, sometimes it's 57k. I'm wondering if those are 2 different kinds of procs. Or maybe there's a mastery at play with one of them. There must be a mastery at play increasing the damage of something. So we are more than a third of the way towards the goal. You can't even see the HP anymore. This is great. It's basically just a bunch of massive shields. And pretty much everybody has 10 buffs up. I think that's part of how the shields grow so fast, so that's yet another reason why Uragrim is kind of essential on my team. I think the shields just don't grow as well if I don't have Uragrim in the lead, placing his buffs and then using his speed aura lead. Bronco made the most free-to-play version team of this, of any of the content creators that I know of. You feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. But I think he made a team that had 3 different rares on it. I think he used Valerie and Hellborn Sprite, and who was his third? Might have been Eris, come to think of it. Eris is just generally a really good rare. If you're looking to build a clan boss team, I mean, even just right when you start the game, it's not a bad idea to just farm Area 1 until you get Valerie, and then farm Area 6 until you get Eris, and then just keep a copy of each of them. Because they can be tremendously good for clan boss. There are a lot of rares that are actually seriously probably better for clan boss than the vast majority of the legendaries that exist. Another one I can think of is Marked. She's the blonde that looks a lot like War Maiden, but like in leather pants. She puts up increased defense and block debuffs with the same move. Just incredible move. I was contemplating putting her in the comp. I don't know who she'd be replacing. But basically, she'd put up block debuffs. I'd never again have to worry about anybody getting stunned. She's putting up the increased defense, which means I wouldn't even need Wixwell to place that. So I could just shut that move off on Wixwell, but I like the fact that Wixwell can place the shield. Otherwise, I'd have to figure out who's placing the shield, which might have been Valerie. So again, if you have Valerie and you have Eris, or if you have Valerie and you have Marked, you could still do this kind of thing. The only required champion is Wixwell. You have Wixwell, you just need 2 other buff extenders. It can be anybody. It can be 2 Valeries. 2 Valeries will be the weakest version, but you could do it with 2 Valeries. So this team is kind of reminding me of something I attempted to do so many years ago with the other master champion of shield growing, which is Brogni. But Brogni doesn't extend buffs, so Brogni's a little more challenging to do this kind of thing with, because with Brogni you need 3 buff extenders. With Wix, you only need 2, because he counts as one of them. But I remember way back in the day, I tried to build a clan boss team just like this, with speeds that were not stellar, and it just didn't work. Back in the day, you probably needed a Krisk, honestly. Somebody who could extend the buffs and also place the increased speed. The increased speed does help, though. Make no mistake about this. We are getting lots of extra turns because of the increased speed that's on everybody. So there's that stun. Just disappeared because of Lady Mikage. This might actually be the best reason to go for Lady Mikage. She does tremendous damage to the clan boss. I mean, this account is just slightly north of 5 months old. And I now have a clan boss team that can do almost 1 million damage per turn. This is not endgame damage by any means, but this is really, really good damage. So normally the turn limit is 1,500 turns. It's a little deceptive though, because it's only showing us the boss turn count right now. But when I made my first unkillable team, and honestly, I still pretty much run the Demitha unkillable comp on any account where it works. On one account, I think I have the Halakath unkillable comp. instead of the Demitha unkillable comp. It's just a matter of which unkillable champion do you have. But it breaks on turn 50, so you have a time limit as to how much damage you can put out. With this one, the time limit is simply limited by how many turns the game will allow you to fight the clan boss. So because we're going at faster than 1-to-1, but probably something comparable to 1-to-1, for every turn the clan boss takes, each of our guys is taking a turn. So I'd say we'd probably run to about turn 200? Maybe not quite 200. Maybe it'd run to like 175. Something like that. I suppose I could also just quit out by killing the program. This is another thing that you can do. If you're not happy with your clan boss run and you don't want to waste a key, you can actually kill the program. Because the clan boss won't actually save your fight until it officially finishes. So if you kill the program and don't let it finish, you can just restart the fight without losing your key. But I'm paranoid. If I do a quick fight, something might go wrong next time. I really do think this is consistent, but something might go wrong. So I'm gonna let it play out. So another thing to look out for when you're doing the clan boss is you want to look at the curse bar, the number of debuffs that you're placing. Right now, I'm noticing that I've got room for a lot more debuffs. And what that means is I could probably take champions that don't have an essential set on already and change it to Toxic or possibly Hex. Because if I place Hex on the clan boss, that's going to increase the damage further. And I could also put somebody in a Toxic set, just putting up some extra small poisons. Curse bar is actually getting pretty full. Like, this is 8 right now. And the maximum is 10. And it just got to the maximum there. So I am sometimes hitting the maximum, and then sometimes I'm just dropping down to almost none. And the problem with Toxic is that it's small versions. There should be a set that gives the big version of poisons. Even if it's at a smaller chance. Like you have the Toxic set, which gives you a 75% chance of placing a small poison. Why not make another set that gives you like a 37.5% chance of doing the big poison? There's also a blessing that increases debuffs to the big version of the debuff, and I'm wondering if that's going to apply to poison. Because if so, that would actually tremendously increase the value of a Toxic set. I hadn't thought of that before. I hadn't thought to check if it applied to that buff or debuff. I have to look into that. Does anyone know if the small version of poison counts in the new blessing? I can't even remember what that new blessing is called right now. So we're at turn 70, 60 million damage. This is definitely a 1 key. I think we've been here more than half the time. I'm expecting by about the 20-minute mark, it's probably going to show us the turn limit count. It usually shows up when you hit 1,000 and warns you that basically it's going to stop the fight at 1,500. And I definitely think turning off Wixwell's A3 was the way to go, because now he's just growing the shields like crazy. I don't need that intercept. I don't need to stop the stuns. I mean, the thing is, even if I didn't have Lady Mikage, and he was just stunning my main DPS, all that means is that my main DPS is going to lose a turn every now and again. It's not fatal. It's not the end of the world. She misses her turn, doesn't matter. I'm missing out on a little bit of damage. But the fact that she can actually cleanse it is even better. There are other champions that can be completely OP for clan boss because they just cleanse automatically at the beginning of their turn, so they can be good people to make stun targets. Like if you have Doom Priest and you make Doom Priest your stun target, basically nothing in your comp will break. But even if somebody other than Doom Priest is the stun target, as long as you speed tune your comp and your Doom Priest, I'm just going to pretend this is Doom Priest for a minute. Your Doom Priest is here, and she's the one that always goes right after the clan boss, so she just immediately cleanses the stun every single time. But if you wanted to not even bother speed tuning and instead just make sure the Doom Priest is the stun target, then you just never lose a turn ever. So we're boss turn 80. We're approaching 20 minutes. I'm getting kind of antsy now. I want to see that count. I want to feel like I'm not going to be here in limbo forever. But also, I mean, check out the damage. 69, dudes. We are super duper close to the mark, which is 70.28 million. 70 million. 70.23 million. There it is. There it is. It's the one key. This is a one key. I suppose I could stop it now, because this clan is not strong enough to take down Ultra Nightmare. But I think we'll get there. I don't know if anybody else in this clan has Wixwell. If you do, and you're watching, and you're struggling, just or even if you're not in the clan and you have Wixwell and you're struggling, just contact me on Discord. I can talk you through this. I have a lot of experience building clan boss teams. I have never built a clan boss team with a champion that's quite so easy to build a team around as Wixwell, and I like this. There's been some chatter about nerfing Wixwell. My thoughts about that are I am maybe okay with them nerfing Wixwell as long as the clan boss teams still work. Maybe they'd be a little harder to get going, but it's still got to be viable. Because if it's not viable, and I've said this before, this is not a threat. This is not me getting mad. This is very simple. If they nerf Wixwell and this doesn't work anymore, I am going to quit this game. I'm going to hand over control of the main clan to Mr. Burrito Slayer. I am going to find a nomination for the new leader of this clan, the mini clan, the junior clan. There's also a third clan that I've started up recently that's always kind of floundering to get its numbers going, but I will pick a new leader for that clan too, and that's probably going to be it. Because I think it might be time to move on from a game. Here's the problem. The main problem is moving the goalposts. Players don't like that. It's very satisfying to get to the point where you've got a working clan boss team and you now know you've done it. I've done it. Here we are. We now have a clan boss team that's capable of achieving a regular supply of books and shards, which are otherwise vanishingly scarce in the game. And that scarcity is there on purpose. They want people to feel pressured into spending money on this game. And I understand the theory there. But if you move the goalposts on players, the trust is gone. Players now just don't trust you. And if Plarium nerfs Wixwell, particularly after all the calls to nerf Armands, all the calls to nerf other champions who are a problem for the players, but Plarium has a tendency to only nerf the champions that are a problem for Plarium. And that again kind of erodes the trust that the community has. So food for thought, Plarium, if you happen to be watching this exact part of the video, buried deeply, like half an hour into the video. But still, it's true. You gotta listen to your player base. At a certain point, they will abandon you. But it's also true that we will put up with a lot. If that weren't true, we wouldn't be here now. So clearly we're prepared to put up with a lot. But I am drawing a line here. If they nerf Wixwell to the point where this isn't viable, I'm out. That is all. So, it's turn 100. We got 85 million. That's plenty. We haven't even seen the turn limit count yet. So, my previous record in the last couple of days was 86 million. And then I got a 70 million. I am fairly certain I can double that number now just because of Lady Mikage. I mean, I'm not even seeing the turn count limit yet. I was expecting to see it by now. Let's see. If it goes to turn 180 approximately, 2/3 of that would be 120, so maybe I was wrong on the time. I thought the time was maybe half an hour, but maybe the time is more like 40 minutes, which means it would be coming at some point. So I can try to consider other ways to increase the damage of the clan boss team. I mean, the curse bar doesn't even have any poisons up right now. So I feel like there's definitely room for more poisons. Who could I put in a hex set? I suppose I could put Uragrim in a hex set. Or Malkith. Lady Mikage could take the shield set. We still have to have somebody in a shield set. The other alternative, if you want to have everybody in not a shield set, it just means that everybody has to have a subset of divine stuff. I think that's probably harder to achieve, though. I think if you just put one champion in a shield set, you're getting there. Another solution, if the shields just aren't big enough initially, so that they don't last long enough for Wixwell to grow them, another solution would be to just put two champions in a shield set. So I'd have Malkith and, say, also Lady Mikage in a shield set. Or let's say you're running two Valeries, you could just put both Valeries in a shield set, and you're starting with an even bigger shield set. Setting the shields, however, a lot more difficult because nobody can really stack the ability-based shields on one another. So you basically just have to start with the best shield ability possible. But you could even put all 5 champions in a shield set if you wanted. You'd start with an insanely big shield. I've seen people do that in Arena. You come into Arena, they've got probably somebody's in bolster because it's all protected shields, and then the other 3 are in shield sets. So 3 shield sets and a bolster set, and then you have champions that they don't quite look as exaggerated as the shields are on this team now. But it's pretty crazy. They're like increasing their HP by 2 or 3-fold at the start of the fight, so you really can't just blitz through them. You gotta chip away through those shields, or you gotta bring a champion that ignores shields. Like that one free champion that I'm forgetting the name of. She's a high elf. You can buy fragments of her at 5 at a time, once a week from the clan shop. Yannicka? I think her name is Yannicka. I have not been buying the Yannicka fragments on this account. I instead went for the other guy, the barbarian, Yakarl. I figured he'd be more important first. But now I'm aware there's actually a Yannicka comp where you can use Wixwell's shields, have them get stolen by the Hydra, and then use Yannicka to do damage based on the shields that are on the Hydra. Very fun idea. So I suppose I could make a point of buying the Yannicka fragments when they're available. But it may not matter, it may not be relevant, because as I said, one way or another I'm probably going to wrap up this series soon. Now that I've got a 1 key for Ultra Nightmare. We're approaching the Arbiter mission. We're fast approaching Shield of the Drakes. We get her at the end of the month. By the time we get Shield of the Drakes, I don't know what there is going to be that's left to do that's exactly early game. Like, I'm calling it the best start guide, right? So it's about starting the game. I'd say the first 6 months could even be considered to be the start of the game, but I mean, particularly for a player like me, I've been here for the better part of 4 years. At a certain point, though, you're not really starting a game if you're a year in or you're 2 years in. You're not exactly a new player anymore at that point. I cannot believe... I mean, we're now at 123, and it's still not showing up. Turn limit's got to show up soon. But this means that this is not yet even 2/3 of the damage. Oh, there it is. Alright, so now we finally got a counter. It happened at pretty much exactly the half-hour mark. So I think the damage is probably going to cap out at somewhere in the neighborhood of 160 million, which is basically double my previous record, and more than double what I got on the following day, which was really just like, I think I got 70.6 million. Just barely managed to get the 1 key on that day. And now I think we're looking at a team that it's not even going to be close. There's never going to be a day where I'm just shy of the damage that I need. And at this point, I think I might start running this team against Nightmare, maybe with 2 keys or maybe with 3 keys, just to help the clan finish Nightmare. But you know what? I may not need to do that, because the clan has been doing a good job. Any clan members out there, good job, guys. You're really getting it. Another way that I can work on kind of squeezing more damage out of the champions is just cranking up the crit rate now. A number of these champions are in either HP gauntlets or defense percent gauntlets, depending on whether I needed their HP to be high for the shield or whether I just needed it to be defense. But I think everybody's defense is greater than 3,000, which is important. I mean, their HP is just not relevant for the most part, except for the champion setting the shield, which is Malkith. Wixwell is the one using the shield ability, but his shield is actually based on his defense as well, so Wixwell doesn't need HP at all. Origrim does need HP for the other comps that I use him in, though. So that's one of the things that I'd kind of like to change about his gearing. I want to put him back in maybe an HP chest or an HP gauntlet. He can keep the defense percent on the other of the 2 pieces, because that's still useful. It's just that some enemies ignore defense, and if an enemy ignores defense, they can kill you really quickly if you're not an HP-based champion, or if you don't have HP-based gear. So yeah, it looks like it's 3 minutes for every 100 turns. So I guess this is going to be a 45-minute fight. So we got 12 minutes left. So poison sensitivity, that's another thing that could increase the damage. So as an optional alternate DPS, I could try bringing Frozen Banshee. I do have a Frozen Banshee on this account, although she's not built. And the downside to Frozen Banshee is she's also not Shadowkin, so you don't get the extra attacks that Lady Mikage is giving to Xenogrey Blademaster. So I'm looking at these 5 champions now. And I'm thinking there's really no way to replace any of them. Maybe aside from Malkith. Honestly, Malkith could probably still have been Valerie. I think he's slightly better than Valerie because his shield growing ability, or not shield growing, sorry, his buff extending ability. He doesn't grow the shields, but he does extend the buffs. And his buff extending ability is still an attack. And that was important. I figured he's going to be striking one more turn because he's got that attack. Whereas Valerie, whenever she extends the buffs, she's just extending the buffs. She's placing increased attack, which won't even place because it's the small version, so it won't replace the big versions that we're already getting from Lady Mikage. Although the upside is sometimes you get those quests where they say, do clan boss with a rare, and right now I don't have a rare on the team. So if I wanted a variation of this team, I'd probably just put Valerie here instead of Malkin. That said, I could basically still build Valerie to do this. I could even do that right now. Or not right now, but right after this fight finishes. Make the variation with Valerie, just to verify that it always works. My suspicion is the damage would be slightly smaller, but it would more or less be fine. Valerie's HP is comparable to Malkith's, because even though she has a little bit less because she's a rare, she has a blessing, and Malkith doesn't. So she gets her extra HP off that blessing. My tea is also not very warm anymore. So bottoms up. I could probably try to speed tune this so that I can be sure Lady Mikage always goes directly before Xenogrey, so she doesn't lose a turn to the stun. Because I think a couple of these times I have seen her lose a turn to the stun, rather than Lady Mikage coming in and cleansing it. It's hard to say. You gotta kind of watch it like a hawk. So there's the stun. Yeah, she lost a turn. So my whole genius strategy of using Lady Mikage to prevent that, I mean, it'd be genius if it worked, but I think even with it not working, and I think currently it is in fact not working, damage is still great. Because at any time Lady Mikage is going to do either an ally attack or her A1, which will include Xeno, Xeno will not be stunned for that. Because that's happening on Lady Mikage's turn. But it could be even stronger. Oh, this time Lady Mikage is going to cleanse it. So at least it's working some of the time. Part of it is, I think Lady Mikage and the other two buff extenders are all moving at a speed of about 220, and I think Xenograe is probably moving at something like 200. I don't know what the exact speed is, and they're under increased speed as well, so that'll skew the numbers also. But we're getting approximately plus 20 speed because of Uragrim's aura. And then we're getting the increased speed by 30%. So maybe they're running at the equivalent of, I don't know, 240%, 240 speed, 260 speed. I don't know. I don't know, what do I look like? A calculator? So, wow, we're boss turn 160. So during CVC, I think I'm going to try to pull some souls. Maybe hope for a Lady Mikage soul. I don't know how likely that is to pop out anymore. Because you can't target mythical souls. Which is really unfortunate. I think there should be some way to target mythical souls when you're pulling those soul stones. That would be nice, Blarium. Or to have some other way to work towards them. I don't know, the whole mythical system is really unfair and just really unlikely to proc. And then you have the souls, which are really unfair and really unlikely to proc. So much worse than the conventional shard and book system. The mythical shards, the primal shards, and the whole soul system, it really kicked that unfairness up a notch. Anyway, here we are at 140 mil. I was expecting that would be the cap, but it's going to keep going. I think it might keep going to 160 or somewhere like that. Let's see. I'm hoping for 160. 160 mil. That would feel good. That would be exactly double my previous record. Barring the test that I did last night. I did do a test on Quick Battle last night. That's how I had a fair amount of confidence it would work today. I didn't have 100% confidence. This game is good at shaking your confidence. It's good at shaking my confidence anyway. You know, I'll think I know how to do something, and then it'll turn out, nope. No, I messed something up. We've got 125 turns to go. We got that cleanse off this time. So Uragrim definitely does not have to have his cleanse activated. So it was a mistake the previous times to leave him with the cleanse. Because even on the times where he had time to do the cleanse, it probably wouldn't have mattered. Because when you consider what might be happening on a team that say this is, just imagine Lady Mikage as Valerie again. And you do have an opportunity to cleanse Xenograe. The stars align, and he has the opportunity to cleanse her when she's stunned. He's still doing that instead of attacking with a poison. Which might be ever so slightly worse, but in any other situation where he's attempting a cleanse on a champion that either does not need to be cleansed, or he's just too late to do the cleanse, he could have been attacking with a poison. So I think it just works out better that he simply doesn't even try to use it. And Lady Mikage's really comes in at the perfect time. Because she's got that ally attack on her A1 and on her A3. and Xenograe can't be stunned for either of those moves. So she loses a turn to the stun. But then she gets to attack here because of Lady Mikage. So we're fast approaching the limit. I might have been wrong about it getting to 160. It might be shy of 160, but it's still going to be very good. It's still definitely going to be well over double what's needed for a 2-key. Like, it's already more than double what you need for a 2-key. So we got less than 50 turns to go. I don't think we're going to hit 160. I'm also wondering if Uragrim needs to be in regen at all for any of the other modes I use him in. Because I don't think I really use him to solo that much. I'll frequently use him to 2-man with Sun Wukong. Because Sun Wukong is good at just popping back up. But I don't know. The team is working. I don't think I can complain. And I don't think I want to mess too much with it, because right now it's working. And it's like I've said many times before, this is the single best source of shards and books. So you really don't want to mess too much with it when you've got it working. I would like to do the variation with Valerie, just so I have a variation that works, but uses a rare. But this is pretty good. Lost another turn to that stun, but it doesn't matter. She's back up and running. She's still running. And this is it. So this is it, and damn near 160. So turn limit reached, 159.31. This is well over double what I got the other day. It's well over double what you need for a single key on Clan Boss. So that's it. That's all I got for you guys today. This is also well over double what I've done on my main Oversoul account here. Like, this isn't my main account, but this is the main leader account on this clan. And Lady Mikage is not even finished. She's not even ascended, and it's well over double. So I'm astonished by how well this has worked out. Once again, Plarium, do not nerf Wixwell. It's going to be a bad move. You're going to lose a bunch of players. But anyway, that's all I got for you guys today. I'll see you tomorrow for CVC. Take care of yourselves.